Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Laura Lameri, and today's podcast is really unique. I have not actually spoken to anybody about this very important topic, which is about international real estate investing. And to better explain the benefits of doing so, I have a special guest, attorney Lauren Cohen. She specializes in international real estate and the legalities of how to do so. So, welcome, Lauren.
Thank you, Laura. It's a pleasure to be here with you again, getting to know you super well. And we're going to be doing such amazing things in 2021 together. I'm very excited.
Yes, definitely, because both of us are connected with international. I'm originally
Yep.
from Italy, you're from originally from Canada. So we did see the possibility and the opportunities here in America about investing in real estate. So I want you to a little bit give your background
Sure.
about your start in the beginnings, and then we can jump into some questions.
I don't have to tell you the year I was born, right?
No, you don't.
By the way, I'm not sure if you know, but Toronto, my hometown, has the second largest Italian community outside of Italy.
Oh, I believe it. I believe
Yeah,
that.
there it's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of Italians living in Toronto. So I
They're all
think
over
only
the place, but yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, and we have very good Italian food, not like here in Florida where it's kind of like but
Right.
anyway. And you're in Weston, right? Is that right where you live?
Yeah, yes. We
Okay,
are near Fort Lauderdale,
right,
halfway between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Yeah.
got it. And I'm in Boca, so I'm even worse off with the good quality ethnic food. And anyway,
Yeah.
so I am originally from Toronto. I was born and raised there, grew up there. I lived in Florida for a few years in the 90s, and then I moved back to Toronto, and I was miserable. It was too cold. Once you've had a taste of Florida, it's very hard to go back, even though Toronto is an amazing city. I was actually supposed to be there right now, and I bailed because it's so cold, and I didn't want to be on being quarantined. So we decided not to go. But in any event, so I grew up there. I became a lawyer in Ontario. I'm still a lawyer in Ontario. And I am now also a lawyer in the US. I'm also a licensed realtor. And I specialize in helping clients and investors and business owners both invest and expand their businesses across borders. But more relevant to you is about helping people invest in real estate across borders and creating a strategy around those real estate investments that not only allows you to earn money potentially without a lot of pain and problems and challenges, because real estate, no matter how much the market is hit, is always going to bounce back, but also in terms of helping them to achieve business visas, immigration status, particularly into the US, but also into Canada, since my license is still there. So my tagline is I help navigate the way for clients to invest, live, work, and play across borders. And I just love doing it.
Yeah, and one of the things we mentioned in the beginning, right, is that I'm originally from Italy, you're from Canada, and we saw some unique possibilities here in the United
Absolutely.
States when it comes to being an entrepreneur, having your own business, but even more being an investor, especially in real estate. So, do you want to talk a little bit what makes United States so appealing as far as real estate?
Oh my goodness. There are so many things,
Some
right,
of the
Laura? I
things,
mean,
let's say the top three.
top three. Well, I think the opportunities here are like nowhere else. You have a market that's, for example, compared to Canada, 10 times the size, and the price points are all over the map. The average home price in Canada is about 450 to 500,000, and here you're looking at about half of that on average. But you can go to various parts of America and buy properties, multifamily properties, for under $100,000. That does not happen in most other countries. And you can buy in different types of properties. You can buy land, you can buy commercial, you can buy multifamily, you can buy industrial. There are so many opportunities and so many places and so many ways to collaborate together and joint venture to buy properties, and then figuring out how do you structure your entity to invest in the property. It's just really the biggest number one thing is volume, because you just don't have the volume, the sheer volume that we see, no matter how good or bad the market is, that we see here in the US. And then after that is all of the ways that you can access property, because it's not nearly as restrictive as a lot of other countries, including Canada, including Italy, where there's a lot more government involvement in property ownership, including England, most parts of Europe, all the European influenced nations, I think, in South America, I mean, you name it. So here, you come here and your dollar goes a lot further, even when your exchange rate is low, like from Canada, when you're paying 35 or 40%. And Laura, by the way, as a brilliant real estate investor that I bought my first house in Florida with my money from my Canadian sale, and I paid 40 cents or 45 cents on every single dollar. So that was not a smart currency exchange, but there's just no end to the opportunity here. But the most important piece to remember when you're investing is to work with professionals, because there are a lot of people from other countries, Canada, Italy, that invest here and invest in maybe they invest the way Americans would invest, but it doesn't work for them in their home country. And if they're still living there, there's a huge problem. We talked about this on the podcast about on the Facebook Live, about the super important element of having a team of experts and working with professionals that can guide you, that have been there, that understand the model and understand the market.
Right. Yeah. And one of the fringe benefits or bonuses, I will say, to also invest in real estate, beside the economy and the fact that it's so much easier to invest here in America, is the fact that a lot of people are not aware of, I wasn't aware of, that you can actually get a visa and possibly an immigration status in America. So I know a lot of investors, a lot of people around the world have the money to invest. They would love to invest in America, but they don't know this little piece of information, which I think is crucial.
Thank you.
You want to expand a little bit on that?
Sure. So I've been working with a lot of real estate investors over the course of my career, many of whom have used real estate as the pathway to obtaining an immigration visa. Now, there are many that perceive that as an inappropriate path, because real estate investing is passive as a rule. That's not always true. So it's a very important element to be able to prove that the real estate investment model, that your business of investing in real estate is a business, and you're not just doing it for cash flow, but you're doing it because you want to have an impact. You're going to have an impact. You're going to turn it into a business that you need to have boots on the ground to run that business in the US and be able to be there physically eventually to manage the business. And you're going to bring in a team of people to run that business with and for you, so that you're going to have an impact on the economy and have employees and all of that. So at the end of the day, a lot of people ask me, well, how much do I need to invest? And, you know, there's the EB-5 visa, which has a specific minimum amount, 1.8 million in a regular area, and not 900,000 in a targeted employment area now. And you have to create at least 10 new full-time jobs. That visa is kind of elusive these days, and not the one that I would recommend. But the E2 visa, which is a treaty investor visa, is based on a substantial investment in a non-marginal business. And marginality is determined based on each business type. So in real estate, $100,000 probably isn't going to cut it, because you're getting an asset, and they want to see some level of risk. However, it's not about the amount as much as it's about the number of doors. And if you have several doors that you're managing, you'll have a couple of multifamily properties and a couple of Airbnbs, commercial properties, hotels, as we were discussing before. Definitely, we can find and create a path to allow you to access a potential visa. And it's just about creativity in the model. You know, we have a company called Creative Real Estate Academy, Creative Visa Academy, Creative Legal Academy. If a lot of us lawyers are guilty of not being that creative, it's just a fact. Just like accountants, you know, it's like, this is the box. Let's think in the box. I have never been that person. That entrepreneurial side of me drives everything I do, like you. You know, it'd be nice to be able to sleep at night instead of always having ideas flying around, right? But
right.
That's not my life. I can't help it. I've always got something going on. So
Yeah, I know that's in the mind of an entrepreneur. I'm always up between 3 and 5 a.m. for some reason.
Right.
Um, so, and obviously there is so many different loopholes and legalities and way to do things. So to have somebody to go to and ask this is not something that you can cut corners, right?
No.
Like with real estate investing, to learn, yeah, you can figure it out on your own. But I tell people it would take you years instead of hiring somebody that already has done and been there. And
Yep.
so when you, especially when you get with international law, there is nothing to be joking about.
No.
There is nothing that you can cut corners here. So how important is for somebody to, if they do want to get involved in real estate here in the United States, what are the first things they need to do? What is like the top, 3 to 5 things that they really need to do? If somebody's sitting in another country right now, he has money to invest, he wants to invest internationally, he wants to invest in the United States, but how do they start? What do they do first?
So there are different schools of thought, but the obvious answer to that is hire me, right? That
Mhm.
goes without saying. But the steps are really, I just laid them out. As I mentioned, we've just finished an 8-step comprehensive turnkey package for these real estate investors that, they may buy with our team or whatever, or they may come ready made with investments, or we can just guide them on how they're investing, let's say with you, how can you turn that into a visa? So, but in that process, we also need to think about the entity, what entities or entity, how is that ownership structure going to work? Where are you going to invest? And critically important is speaking to a cross-border international CPA. I work with several of them that work with different countries. And if you don't have guidance on both sides of whatever the border is, whether it's a land border like Canada or a water border like most of the rest of the world, you have to consider both sides of that coin. And if you don't, you're going to end up paying unnecessary taxes that could be avoided if you manage this process properly. So it's a matter of kind of going into your pocket and spending a little bit of money on professional guidance. There are a lot of people that offer services, turnkey, they say, and they are very discounted, let's say. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, those discounted services are discounted for a reason, and you're not going to get the results you want. So it's a matter of looking at the value of what you want and the value of your time and not making mistakes so that you can focus on building your business and hiring the team that's going to manage this process for you. And what I do, I'm like the back office, I'm the accountability partner that cracks the whip. Can you imagine, Laura, me cracking the whip? Like probably you and I crack the whip pretty well, I'm
Oh
guessing.
yeah, we have to, right?
Right, exactly. But that I'm that person that's left suing everybody and keeping them all accountable so that things happen properly. And it's really important to manage that and be aware that cheap or discount is not always the best way to go, and generally not usually the best way to go.
Right, you get what you pay for, right?
Mhm.
And so why do you think to have an accountability partner is so important?
Because people, clients tend to work with multiple, let's say, service providers. Many clients, they're just kind of hiring people and nobody's working together, there's no cohesion, and as a result things slip through the cracks. And if there's no accountability back to this kind of single source, then you're going to have things that don't match. Like, for example, your business plan is not going to match your legal petition, is not going to match your business investment, is not going to match your strategy, is not going to match your financial investment. So all of it has to kind of collaboratively be managed by this single source to ensure that there is that accountability and the process is smooth and the results are as desired.
Right. And so now moving forward, we are here wrapping up the end of 2020 and we're moving forward into another decade, really. But what do you think, why is so important now, and why investing in United States is actually more of a viable option? Because some people are sitting on the fence, right? They say, oh, what's going on now with the pandemic and everything
Yeah.
else going on? But why is actually the best time to invest in real estate here in the United States?
Well, there's several reasons, not the least of which is that forbearances are cracking down. Mortgage companies are cracking down on the forbearance, and so mortgages are going to not more people are not going to be paying their mortgages. They already aren't, and so there's going to be a lot of subject to opportunities. There's going to be a lot of distressed properties, a lot of, unfortunately, foreclosures. And if we can go in there and access these properties before they get to that point, we're saving not only the homeowner, but we're giving ourselves an opportunity to make an impact and so on. The pandemic has obviously been global, and the US admittedly has not done a great job of responding or dealing with the press or all of this. And certainly the numbers are super high, but the reality is that real estate is always going to be strong. And even if it goes down like it did in '08, it's going to come back up. And that's why the opportunity here is so great now. When you compare it with mostly any other country in the world, no matter what, the economy is strong, and you've got the support behind that economy that you know it's always going to keep driving up, because it has to, because it drives the world economy. So it's just it's a natural place to invest. And COVID, I think, has actually had the silver lining of opening doors to new investors that possibly lost their jobs and suddenly faced the reality that they had to find a new avenue to earn income. So
Right. Well, also, I wanted to ask you, and as a real estate investor, because you said, you actually started investing in real estate in real estate while you were still in Canada.
mhm.
What are the top three things that you wish you would have done before you start investing? You said like you invested here in Florida and you ended up overpaying based on your dollars for a property that, especially according to your own value. But what do you think you would have done differently? Kind of say three things. If you're an investor that says, okay, I want to invest in the United States,
Get a coach.
besides obviously getting, legal counsel to understand what they're doing, what are some other mistakes that people might not think about?
Definitely get a coach. Work with a
Okay.
coach that understands the real estate market. Make sure that you set up a structure for investing, not that you're not investing individually, because you're going to expose yourself to liability and a lot of potential challenges. Um, and also make sure that you have a strategy. You're not just haphazardly investing where you think there's a deal. You see a deal, oh, I'm going to invest, but you need to have a strategy for the types of investments that you're making and the locations of those investments. That's the way to build it as a business, as opposed to just kind of one off, oh, like, happen to get lucky kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's very important. I mean, it's important for everybody, even if somebody that's citizen, American citizen, but especially if you are from another country, like you said, you have to be careful with taxation. You have to be careful how you structure your legal entity to really have a master plan, right? A business plan, a strategy, what you need to do, and consult an attorney and say, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want to build. How can this be feasibly done? Me
Right.
being from another country without having to worry about double taxation or some of the other legal implications. So I think the most important thing, I would say, to really kind of build up a business plan or what you want to
Yep.
do, and then hire somebody like you to help them. Like I said, keep an accountability partner so you're doing the right things at the right time, and also have somebody that can set up the best entity. And then if you're interested eventually in getting your immigration status or your special visa, that obviously is something that can be done as well. So these are all important factors, and somebody needs to consider definitely when investing, especially if you're from another country.
Mhm.
And then getting somebody local, because honestly, if I had to invest in Canada or Europe, I wouldn't just go there and start investing. I would just
Right.
actually hire somebody there that has been doing it
Right.
and get their eye and sight and wisdom on it before I go and put money in as well. So yeah, those are important things. So how can I know you have a ton of resources on your website. You also have webinars, you have books, people can reach to you for consultations.
Yeah.
So do you want to let people know how they can directly reach you?
Sure. So you can reach me in several, well, my big reach is on LinkedIn. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Lauren Cohen, eCouncil Inc. And on Facebook, my group is called um, um, Creative Cross Border Academy. Suddenly I had a brain freeze. Creative Cross Border Academy on Facebook. And one of the things I'm going to do, Laura, is share a link to a gift that is an ebook on real estate investing across borders. And at the beginning of the ebook is the 8 steps to successful real estate investing across borders that need to be considered. And so you'll have that available to all of your listeners. And I think that's a great resource. A lot of people have been downloading it. And certainly I am also available for a free 15-minute consult strategy session to see what options are available, because it is important to have the visa discussion at an early stage, because you're going to have different setup, a different structure, a different plan in mind if your goal is a visa. Whereas if your goal is just investing, you might be more into the passive option. But with a visa, you definitely need to be more actively involved. So all of those resources are available. You can reach me directly at Lauren ESQ. I'll give you my personal email because it's the easy one, LAURENESQ@gmail. And my phone number is 866-724-0085, 866-724-0085. And I'm here to be a resource for pretty much anybody that needs some guidance and help in their international real estate investing program.
Great. Well, this was definitely great information, and a lot of people out there, they don't even know where to start with this. So to let everybody know, because we are in a global type economy, right? We are investing globally more and more so.
Absolutely.
And to be able to go in other countries where you can maximize your potential investments without being tied to your own economy and your own country, this is something that we're definitely, I think, moving into the new decade.
For sure.
So, thanks again for sharing this valuable information. I would highly suggest for everybody that's international from other countries, I know a lot of you, my listeners, are from other countries, that you do get the ebook and get some of the information. And if you want to take the leap and really consider this, now you know more how to reach out. Because a lot of people I talk to say, okay, I'm interested, but I don't know where to start.
Right.
I don't know, how can I invest from Europe? How can I invest from Canada or South America? I don't know. I don't know who to talk to. Now, here you got the point of contact today that she can definitely help you to, depending on your own strategy and, goals.
And one thing you can always count on with me is honesty. Sometimes brutal honesty. I'm not gonna tell you, I'm not gonna give you a rose-colored glasses. I'm gonna tell you what the realities I think could be. And then eventually, once we're retained, we can start a legal guidance process and everything. And I just want to reiterate that, of course, nothing I'm saying here on this podcast is legal advice, just general advice about the state of the visa process. And I'll also share my book with you, Laura, so that anybody that wishes to can download that or order it on Amazon. And it's really my pleasure to impact real estate investors, because they're my people, and that's where it's at the end of the day. And they're going to help to turn this economy around and keep it strong. So right. I thank you. I wish you happy holidays and all the best in 2021 for all of us. Please God.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. Right. Have a great new year and a very profitable new year, and start thinking, different outside the box, because the opportunities are there.
They are.
Great. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a great one, sweetie. Bye-bye.